So, hello, I'm Leah Henk. I serve as president for Freedom from USA, and I am grateful always for this work that seeks out girls in need of rescue, restoration, and justice who have been trafficked in sex trafficking in India. Right now, we're in the midst of summer. In India, it has been a very, very hot season, a lot of heat waves. We're now moving into monsoon, so it's a little bit of that is getting better, but work definitely slows down. Girls in the homes are tricky because everybody's hot and cranky and it's kind of a tough season, but we're coming through the heat. And so that is good. Our staff in India just last weekend finished their annual retreat and were able to come together from the 6 offices throughout India. And it's just a very special time of uh, joining together as a team, of envisioning what the future will be, our future steps. And so, though I was not a part of that, I look forward to hear some of the outcomes. And I just believe it's always also a good time of spiritual encouragement for the team. They did while they were together. We mourn the loss of one former team member. Uh, in fact, he was the one that Evan and I, when we were in India, had worked with the longest. He was just a very, very faithful man, an investigator there, had worked a decade plus. And anyway, he was also a farmer and was lived in his area, had several boys who were a bit older than my own children, but he suffered a heat stroke one day and decided that the next day he was probably well enough to go and work again, though he probably should have rested, and he went and he suffered a cardiac arrest and passed away very quickly. So it was a shock to all of us. So we were remembering him, but in remembering him, it was like such an encouragement as well, because through his work, he had rescued hundreds of girls. He was never afraid to go. He was our one staff member who came the closest to being injured. By God's grace, God's covering has always been over our staff. But at one time he was discovered and kept and beaten, um, and he managed to escape. While those who had captured him were trying to figure out what to do, he managed to get away, and that was a very scary situation. And he was no longer able to investigate in that area, but he continued. He continued going to other villages and seeking out girls who are in need. And so, just a very simple but persevering and precious man. So we were grateful for his life and the many things that were accomplished, and sad for the shortness of it, but just saying that the memory of the righteous is blessed. And so, in our local team, we had a birth in the family. So we have one of our teammates is on maternity leave with her first beautiful little girl. And so we are covering that absence, but also just rejoicing with her in that. And so we're preparing for something we're called Action in August. It's a couple of different events, one in-person event in Stanton, Kentucky, one in Galax, Virginia, where I live, that we're excited about, but also encouraging people that you can get involved wherever you are, through organizing a walk, or if you exercise anyway, you can invite people to, hey, make my steps count towards freedom this summer. And so you guys can check that out on our webpage, freedomfrom.org, and look at the events and see ways that you can get involved with that. So just kind of a fun summer challenge with that. And speaking of challenges, we've need to continue to be praying over Madhya Pradesh. Uh, this area has weighed on my heart for about 2 years now, as just a seed bed of where even very young girls, as I know I shared with you all last time I spoke with you, is that we had just rescued our youngest to date, ages 10 and 12. And we looked in April at another area we had worked in Nagpur, where we've worked now for 12 years. And having that benefit of perspective shows how places go from really, really awful to finally a tipping point after years of perseverance to today. Nagpur is a place that officials themselves are saying that this is a priority of our work. We are working, the red light areas are majority clear of minors, just a full circle from what it used to be. And so when I look at Madhya Pradesh, it's discouraging, but it also reminds me a lot of Nagpur, and especially those early days. So right now, in our stage in Nagpur, we're at the place where it's bad. It's a lot of challenges. Officials not willing to cooperate, seeing evidence of corruption, girls that are being rescued, being very quickly released. So we're in that early stage of fighting the battle there. Um, and so, but I have hope that as we do not give up, as we continue to press forward, uh, these giants have to fall. And we want those giants to fall. We want these girls to have freedom and safety and the opportunity to enjoy love and families and a future of their own. And so join us in praying for Madhya Pradesh. But that is a short and brief overview of our summer months. But just appreciate you guys for your continued prayers and partnership.